Okay, they say life's full of coincidences, but I'm not really sure if they are or not. I mean, as I started to investigate the silica thing a bit more, I actually went to Kaiao one day to get some river rocks for around the house, and the quarry manager there was telling me these stories about the silt that was in the ponds and how it grew these tomatoes as high as the house. And I go, nah, yeah, doll's house, whatever. Anyway, I took some home, and then I went back the following week, got a whole lot more. And yeah, it worked all right. Said it was amazing stuff. And I went to the gem factory at Ngatea, and there was a exhibit in there where you go in and you go into a black room and they just use ultraviolet light. And the certain silica minerals fluoresce, and that means the UV light goes into the stone and it gets mutated and it puts off light. It's not like a reflective light we see in day-to-day life. But that was the interesting part, was that that process is exactly the way a solar panel works. And I found from that marine silica that the surface area is incredible. It's said to be that 1 square inch is equivalent to 7 square miles of surface area, and it certainly would appear that way. So we went on to find out that we could actually create these solar panels in the soil, and I learnt that when I used magnetite and paramagnetic material, we could actually create a spreadable solar panel on the soil. And from there, we could actually increase production. And that brought on a whole lot of other really interesting things, because as we actually started to ramp up the soils, what we learnt was that it multiplied everything that was there. And I certainly got a real wake-up call to the amount of toxicity that was in our farm. Before we'd purchased it, they'd put 50D sprays on, and there would be products like 2,4,5-T on when the government was paying for land to be broken in, which seems ironic now, given the carbon question that we got. So we had big issues. I mean, I had trees that looked like they'd been sprayed with hormone sprays. Oak trees that just grew about so high and then they went all twirly. And over time we worked out that there was only specific forms of fungi could actually break all that toxicity down. And when they did, you get a whole lot of better biological activity. And originally we'd put it in the water trough, we'd grow it up in milk, give it to the cows through the water, and the manure and the dung would actually disappear a hell of a lot quicker. And it was quite remarkable. So over time we developed, or every time we saw a particular fungi that was doing a particular job, we just added into the brew. And so we've worked out that we can't overload the number of fungi in the soil. They all have a specific reason for being there, and they all do specific jobs. And you don't really tend to see them fruiting at all, except when there's pressure, or except for field mushrooms that seem to turn up. Well, they even turn up after pressure too, after a long dry spell. So when that happened, then our soils started getting considerably deeper, and there was a whole lot of really cool things starting to happen. The animal health was getting better, and I was realizing that certain species had a huge part to play inside the animal's digestion, because you'd actually see them, that when you actually introduced it to them in the trough and they digested, their whole gut and their animal behavior and everything changed too. So you could see that by having chemicals and other products like animal remedies, that would upset their gut and it would disturb their whole function. So it was all about trying to look at the soil the same as we looked at the animals. It was all about nutrition. From there we sort of moved on. I started reading the material of Maynard Murray, who was doing all the work on sea energy and agriculture. His material was being heavily publicised in Acres USA,